Greetings, fellow traders. It's Von C here. So we're back on Von C with traders. So today I'm just going to talk about options on the ASX. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. So I'm talking about stock options that you normally see with an expiry date with exercise price as well. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to use ADN, RNU, for example. So those are going to be my examples. So as you know, I'm not a broker. Whatever is discussed here does not constitute trading advice. So I don't want people going there doing the wrong things. So first things first, when you want to buy an option, you need to actually look at the expiry date. Is it next month? So at times it's not worth buying something that's expiring next month when the stock hasn't run or the stock is not running, because chances are you are going to lose your money. So another thing you need to look for is, of course, you have to look at the price, the heads. So we're going to use ADN as an example. ADN, when they say the heads, ADN are the heads, and the options will be ADNOB. So ADNOB, it expired last year, and it was being exercised at 1.2 cents. So you need to look at that exercise price. So you can look, for example, you can use RNUOB, and you know it's trading at 4.1 cents at present. So that's what you can actually be looking at. Sometimes it's OA, OB, OC. So just look at the ASX codes and see what's written there. And another thing as well, you need to look at the stock price. I've already mentioned that. You need to research the stock. You need to know if the stock has got potential or not, because some of these stocks are not going to run, so you're not going to make money. So number 4, you need to have a plan. Are you going to sell for a profit? Are you going to be selling after you've exercised these options, or you're going to exercise them and keep them long term? So you need to have a plan in your head. You need to know what you're planning to do. So you need to know those things. So it's very simple, really. So for example, I bought ADNOB sometime in May 2019, 400,000, another, I think, 495,000. So in total, at 495,000, and I bought some later on. So as you can see, the code there, OB. So we're going to use that as an example. It's just for illustration purposes only. So ADNOB, you'll have seen that it had an expiry date of the 11th, November 30. That's an error there, typo, sorry about that. So it was being exercised at 0.012. So now the question is, you look at the share price of ADN, you read more about ADN. For example, okay, hyalosite, when is it likely to be in production? Am I willing to wait that long? What's going on capital wise? Is there likely to be capital raising? You look at scoping status. This is a mining stock, of course. You want to know the jog, for example, so all those things. So don't be making things complicated, but make sure you've actually read and understood what this stock is all about. So now we go look at it an example. So we've got ADNOB expiring on the 30th of November 2020, and exercise price is 0.012. So for example, buy 1.3 million ADNOB at 0.005, so that costs you $6,500. And then you decide, this is my plan. My plan is I want to make profit and I'm going to sell this. I'm not going to be exercising these options. So when the stock goes up and the options head up, I'm going to sell my options. So eventually ADN goes up, as you can see, and it did go up, and then you decide to sell ADNOB at 2 cents and you get 260,000. Then you minus 6,500 you spent buying originally, then you got a profit of 253,500. But don't forget, it doesn't always work that way. So this is a very good example of, a good stock. You could have made money on it. Then example number 2 is when you exercise ADNOB. So when you exercise ADNOB, you gotta give the company some money so that they can convert your options into your heads. So when this happens, it takes some days or a week and a few days, depends with the company as well. So you decide to exercise all your options. You don't have to, but you can exercise some. So in this example, you decide to exercise all of them, 1.3 million, and you have to multiply that by 0.012, which is the exercise price. So you give the company 15,600. And so your total cost is the 15,600 plus the 6,500, which you originally bought ADNOB with. So you've spent 22,100 on ADNOB. So now, great, fantastic. So what the company does now, that code ADNOB is removed from your portfolio. You're now going to see ADN, and you will be holding 1.3 million ADN shares. So when ADN got to 31.5 cents, you're like, oh, I can't keep looking at this profit. So you decide to sell it, and you total amount, of course, you're going to sell the 1.3 million will be 409,500 minus the money you spent exercising and buying, which will be the 15,600 plus 6,500, which is 22,100. So in the end, you got a profit of $387,400. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. The choice is yours. You need to decide, am I going to sell on the market? Am I going to exercise this and sell on the market? Or I'm going to exercise and keep it long term? So that should be your strategy. So as you can see, at some point, ADN and ADNOB were the same price, 27.5 cents. And that was sometime in November, because I remember tweeting this, because I'd never actually seen the options and the heads the same price. So I found this quite interesting for this stock. And as I mentioned before, it's not always rosy out there. You can actually make a loss. So for example, if ADN didn't go up, ADN maybe just went up maybe to 2 cents, 3 cents, dropped back again to 0.008, and the exercise price maybe was 3 cents. So you had 1.3 million. That would have meant that if you decide to exercise them before the 30th of November, you would have had to give the company $39,000 plus the $6,500 that you spent before. So I don't think people would have exercised that if ADN hadn't gone up. But sometimes when the stock doesn't go up as planned, we get announcements saying there's going to be an underwriter that is willing to exercise those options and give the company money, those kind of things. So we've had so many options that have expired without even getting anywhere. Traders have had to maybe sell at break even or buy more shares so they can average down and sell them on the market before the expiry date. So it can be quite stressful if you don't know what you're doing, because you lose your money, because nobody would want to buy those shares if they're not in the money. So you need to be very careful, and you need to know what you're doing there. So for example, now we've got RNUB. RNUB is trading at 0.041, and it expires on the 12th of December. Sorry, it expires in 2022 in December, and the exercise price is 0.02, and the heads are trading at 6.2 cents. So it's a graphite stock, purified spherical graphite. So you need to know, back to basics again, research. Is the stock likely to run? Okay, we're talking EV, we're talking about graphite, battery anodes, that kind of thing. The second largest graphite resource outside Africa. So you just need to know what you're reading. And another thing, now that I've told you a bit about calculations when trading these options, you don't need to be that person who's going to be asking people, what's the exercise price? I know some people want quick answers, but just learn to do your own research. What's the exercise price? Or what's the expiry date? It's right there in your face, especially the expiry date. So just need to do some research, So if you don't know what you're doing, you don't need to be trading these options, because I don't want anyone to lose their money. So just be careful with what you do out there. So you can subscribe to Fonzie with Traders channel below here on YouTube, or you can follow me on Twitter. That's my Twitter account there. I hope everyone is doing well, and all the best, everyone. Thank you.